27 years ago, everything began with Diablo 1. And even after all these years, starting the game in Tristram and the music starts playing just simply warms your heart. Now it's 2023, we have Diablo 4, and this is how the game looks in comparison. Fantastic, graphically pleasing, but how does it hold up from a feel perspective? Because Diablo 1, even all the way back as the first iteration, did so many things right that might over the years just simply have been forgotten. Let's throw a critical eye on what Diablo 1 did and also what Diablo 4 should learn from that ASAP. Let's talk about one of my favorite things in Diablo 1 first, items and the old geezer in the middle of the town. The game begins and you walk up to Deckard Cain and he greets you so nice and friendly.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
It becomes a cornerstone of your Diablo experience that you actually start caring about him, which is completely missing in Diablo 4. There's not a single NPC I give a damn about. What Deckard Cain does is he identifies items for you, which is probably one of the greatest mechanics in the game, since you're finding these magic items throughout the dungeon. And finding items in itself is already very hard, because they drop out of monsters, but they're not highlighted unless you use a search spell. More to the item dropping and scarcity in a second, but these items can be magical and they're unidentified, so you don't know what stats do they actually have. And then you either use a scroll of identification or you go to Deckard Cain, pay him some bucks, and he'll tell you what they actually do. And this is probably the greatest fun ever, to find something that is a new wand, and it's called the Wand of Lightning and the Ring of Jebediah and the Amulet of Francis, and suddenly they actually give you a huge chunk of vitality, more chance to hit, super boost in damage, but you don't know until you finally identify the item to find out how good is it truly. Now this also ties very nicely in with the scarcity of loot, because you're going through the dungeons and it's not that loot is dropping left, right, and center. There's gold dropping quite a lot with the most iconic sound ever. But not only gold has a good sound, every single item makes actually a sound when they're dropping. Helmets have this kind of clong and bucklers too, and then rings have this pling sound. And this is what you actually need to listen for, because when you kill monsters and they drop loot, there's really this distinctive happiness that's coming when you hear the cling hit the ground. You're like, this is a ring. Ooh-ah. And then it's also unidentified, and you're like, town portal back to Deckard Cain and straight up find out what is it actually. This gameplay loop of having the distinctive sound and then being able to gamble to see what's coming out of it is such a perfect formula for continuous joy of gaming, especially to emphasize again, since loot doesn't drop left, right, and center everywhere. Now we're not done with items yet, because there's something truly remarkable about how the inventory looks, and that is every item has its own character. Wands are this 2x3, helmets have the 2x2, shields as well, potions, rings, amulets, the 1x1. You open up your inventory and you instantly know what is what on a first glance. I open up my Diablo 4 inventory, I have to press the sword button, and still everything looks like the same mess, to be honest. Whereas truly the uniqueness of all the items in Diablo just shines to you and gives it such a bigger, remarkable character. Now, two things I'm really torn about. One is skills, the others is potions. Skills are acquired by finding skill books. For my sorcerer, for example, I just roam through the first level of the dungeon and I might find lightning, mana shield, guardians, firewall, whatever. But I might also not find it. Then I can go to Adria the witch in the town and buy some books if she has them available, which is also random. And another level would be finding a wand that has firewall on it, to just cast it with a wand instead of with the skills I have. So getting your respective skills is down to RNG, which makes every playthrough feel unique, and you might be playing different regarding to what skills you're getting. Usually you always play fireball, but now you found 3 tomes of lightning, which makes lightning then level 3. Therefore, you're going to be using more of that instead of the fireball, considering that some opponents are also lightning immune and you actually have to go back to the fireball again. But every playthrough because of that will feel unique, but maybe you'll also get frustrated because you're looking for a certain spell that you, for the love of God, are not getting. and the progress is truly everything but streamlined. This brings its frustration, but its own fun at the same time. Now, the second part with the potions is quite one of the iconic things the game started with. In order to survive, you gotta spam like the potions, you gotta buy a lot of potions, you gotta make sure to always be topped up, and sometimes even teleport out in a fight to buy some new potions and get back in. I did that in Diablo 2 a lot, which is technically not really user-friendly. The new mechanic in Diablo 4 where you have your X number of potions and they just get automatically refilled by killing monsters and then getting them makes it easier to more streamlined to play. But at the same time, it's taking out a level of suspense that Diablo 1 is having. Like, you're going to a boss fight, do I have enough potions? You're going to through the dungeon, do I have enough mana potions? Can I actually do this? Or should I go back into town first to restock? And this kind of made Diablo 1 feel more like a survival dungeon crawler, creating a big suspense that in comparison, Diablo 4 is quite missing because you're just blasting and boosting through the dungeons and then pressing your potion button as often as you want without thought. Whereas you're more conserving your resources in Diablo 1. This combination of RNG and suspense, of making resources more scarce instead of showering you with loot and everything, the items not dropping left, right, and center as we talked about, truly gave Diablo its character of not just being a mobile game loot-vana that Diablo 4 nowadays kind of feels like. You were an adventurer toiling, really struggling through dungeons, getting powerful and more powerful step by step with single-handedly nicely picked out items that truly elevated you to the next level, to then be able in the end to overcome Diablo and not just completely vastly blast him into smithereens as you're over leveled. And no, a struggle. And that struggle and that feeling of suspense is really something that I'm missing in Diablo 4. Yes, you do want to become powerful. Yes, you do want to boost at some point through things. But it's happening so fast in Diablo, even from level 1 on, you just level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pop, 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 pop. You go so fast through it. It's like this instant gratification mobile game feeling where you're just being flown through the ranks and you're instantly level 100. Now, everyone kind of wants to be level 100, though, that they can then engage in the endgame activities, which actually don't exist. That's a whole different point to talk about. During your journey, every single item you drop on your way to level 100, you're just rinsing through like crazy. And you're also getting items left, right, and center. They're just flying in front of your feet. Your inventory will be full in no time, and then you get to throw everything out again, and then it's full in no time again, and then you're throwing crazy. And 90% of these items you're finding are completely useless. I mean, in Diablo 1, I find an item that has +9 vitality on it, and I'm celebrating like crazy. Then I find an ancestral item that has 4 different stats on it, and I need to pull up my calculator and my Excel sheets and compare if this is actually better than what I've had before. The simplicity to a degree is missing. Yes, I want to min-max, but I don't want to be having 400 different affixes to sort through. I mean, I've literally been having one ring that says it gives me +13 vitality, and I was so damn happy. Now I need a ring that has bone skill damage, critical strike, lucky hit chance, and maximum life. And if it doesn't have one of these 3 things or only 2 out of 4, then the ring is already trash and I can throw it away and I don't even want to consider it anymore. And I'll reach the point where I've picked up so many items that I can't even be bothered picking up items anymore or even caring remotely of actually getting things because they're not item level 925. So why would I wonder? Yes, I know item level 832 is equally good as well, but at the end of the day, you kind of want the highest item level, so you're only doing durials to get the highest item level items because the overworld is completely useless. That means the overworld drops you 100 items every 10 minutes, and you're actually not picking up a single one of them. It's kind of hard, though, to fix this problem with the itemization because even if we have less affixes, the constant churning through of items doesn't get changed. It's kind of like fixed gameplay loop at this point. It's what we're having. There's one thing, though, they could do, and that is give us a way to progress items. Because if I would get an item and I could slowly push that item forward by disenchanting other items into it. So I have my perfect helmet that I found with level 65, and it has the 4 perfect stats. But I'll have to technically get rid of it at some point by just finding something that's less optimal, but maybe just be high item power. Why can I not start funneling all the other items in? Because I love this helmet so much. You know, I found it as I was killing the minions and I almost died. My hardcore character struggling on his last leg. I have a personal collection to this. And now by disenchanting unique items, ancestral items, I will slowly raise the item power of this item to then in the end have a 925 ancestral item progressed all the way from level 65. Now you would say that's sad that you're never exchanging the one, but on the other hand, it's with me. I have a bond with this item. I progress it this way. I earned this item to this point. That would be great to remove this feeling of everything is just interchangeable and nothing matters at all. As a big conclusion, looking at Diablo 1 and Diablo 4, and I know it's going to sound cheesy, but the biggest thing is a soul is missing in Diablo 4. Diablo 1 had this truly remarkable character, the music, the dungeon design, the ever going deeper into this, the suspense, everything kind of fitting together to create a great game experience. Diablo 4 is just this smashing through, powerful, godlike, I'll get super OP, and then I'll smash through harder and loot is dropping, and I'll get more and more and more, and it's just being shoved down my throat until I can't handle it anymore. Which leads to everything in Diablo 4 feeling interchangeable, not remarkable, and it almost doesn't matter unless it's maybe a unique or an uber unique picking up, and even the uniques don't really feel good because if it's not a high roll, then you're more sad than happy of actually finding the unique. Despite all of this, I tremendously enjoyed Diablo 4 though. But what are your thoughts looking at Diablo 1 back then and Diablo 4 now? Share it in the comments below. And if you also want to see that Diablo 1 playthrough I recently did, check it out.